Today we're going to look at inequalities. Recently in math we've been talking about equations, and we've been solving equations and finding one correct solution to that equation. So if we look at this equation, x minus 5 equals 9, we would solve it by adding 5 to both sides to get the x by itself, and then we find that the answer is x equals 14. So there's one solution to that equation. With the inequalities that we look at now, we're going to be looking at a range of numbers that are the correct answer. And so when we look at these inequality symbols, we have the less than, the greater than symbols. Those two symbols you've learned all along through elementary school. However, you do need to know that each of those symbols has that name, that the first symbol is less than. We're not eating up the big number and pointing to the small number anymore and talking about crocodiles and alligators and all of that. So this symbol does mean less than, and the number that comes first would be less than the second number. Same thing with greater than. The greater than symbol, the greater number goes first, followed by the smaller number. Then we have these two other symbols, which are also inequality symbols, but they will tell us that the number is less than or equal to whatever the second value is. Likewise, the fourth symbol, greater than or equal to. So what we're going to do now is show you how to graph an inequality. And if you will look at the first inequality, which is x is less than 3, what we want to do is look at our number line and actually graph all the numbers that are less than 3. So the first thing we're going to do on our just plain number line is we need to put the number 3 on here somewhere in the middle. And then go ahead and put numbers on either side so we can tell what our interval is of this number line. In this case, we have x is less than 3. It's not equal to 3 though. So we're not going to put a dot on the number line at 3 because it cannot be equal to 3. But it can be everything less than 3. So what we're going to do is put an open circle on the 3 like this, and then shade our number line, everything to the left, everything that is less than 3. And shade in that line. If you notice, and here's a little trick, this arrow that I'm shading is the same shape as the less than symbol. Just a little trick for you. Okay, so that is graphed. That means that everything shaded is less than 3, including negative numbers, which are all down in this direction. All right, let's look at another example, which is x is less than or equal to negative 5. So what we're going to do again is number, as long as we have our number that we need somewhere in the number line, and then we're going to continue our number line. These would be towards our positive numbers. Our numbers are getting smaller as we go towards the left. So now we have x is less than or equal to negative 5, which means that it could be equal to negative 5. So we're going to put a filled in circle, put a dot on the number line, because that could be one of our numbers. And then it's also everything that is less than negative 5. So again, we're going to shade the line to the left, everything that goes in the smaller direction. And again, our arrow that goes this way is the same shape as our less than symbol. Okay, our last example is x is greater than 4. So again, we need to put our number 4 on here somewhere. 4. Okay, and then x is not equal to 4, so we need to have an open circle. But it is everything greater than 4. So greater than is going to point in this direction since this is where the numbers are greater. So it can be all the numbers that are greater than 4. So we're going to shade in our line, including the arrow And we will notice that our arrow goes to the right, which is the same shape as the greater than symbol. And that is graphing inequalities.